Hi and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how expectations can impact children's behaviour. We'll talk about the difference between a rule and an expectation, and then we'll share our 3 expectations that we have here at Kaizen Sports. So, a rule versus an expectation, what's the difference? Cast your mind back to that family holiday with the swimming pool. Now that pool will have had a list of rules. No cannonballing, no pushing people in, no dunking, etc. There wasn't a rule saying that you can't use a jet ski in the toddler pool, but that rule's kind of obvious. It's clear that the expectation is, set out from the other rules, that we behave safely and don't endanger others. So let's jump away from the pool and back into school life. When we ask children to not talk over each other, face each other and make eye contact, and sit still, keeping fidgeting to a minimum, these are all ground rules that we teach children in order to communicate respectfully with each other. Likewise, in this next handful of rules, we can easily work out that the expectation would be to travel safely, in the school corridor for example. Expectations allow children to fill in the blanks and change their behaviour accordingly, and covers any loopholes that the rules might have missed out, such as the jet ski example. At Kaizen Sports, we only actually have 3 expectations of the children. The first one is to be safe. Be safe when you're travelling around, be safe when you're setting up and playing the games, and be safe when you're using any piece of equipment. Now, I don't have a problem with children coming into the hall and then running into a space in order to sit down to showcase their listening skills and that they're ready. However, as more and more children enter the hall, the environment changes, which means as the back end of the line come in, they're probably going to have to walk in order to maintain the expectation of travelling safely. We also usually leave the equipment somewhere so that children can help themselves. In order to get the equipment safely, younger children will usually come up with the idea of lining up. But as children get older, they develop new tactics. So one member in the group maybe gets the equipment for the rest of the team. And as always, when children play with the equipment, we expect them to do it safely and then put it back when they've finished with it. When you do see something unsafe, ask the child, why do you think that was unsafe? Usually they'll be able to explain why it wasn't safe, followed by an apology. It helps them to get a firm grasp of the expectation and helps to maintain the relationship. Our second expectation is to be kind, which is how we interact with other children, our social skills. We communicate respectfully, we take it in turns and share, and we look for opportunity to showcase just how fair and honest we can be. Kids naturally understand what being kind means, but these help to serve as a guide. We've all had it where we ask children to get into groups and then there's one child that comes over saying, I haven't got a group to work with. This is usually because they haven't asked anybody yet, but if they were to go up to a group and kindly ask if they could join in please, the expectation is that the group would be kind and allow that person to join in. From here, children might have to take turns in order to volunteer to fulfill a certain role, but also put a system in place so that children get to swap over so they each get a fair amount of playing time. In this game of pig in the middle, the children have decided that if you drop the ball, you then go into the middle. This also gives children opportunities to be fair and honest when playing the game. And remember, we're kind to everybody, not just our friends, but everyone else in the class as well. And finally, trying your best is all around personal improvement. We persevere, so we try something over and over again because practice makes progress. We focus on our own personal best, and we reflect on what just happened and adapt so that we can improve next time. In this game, the aim is to throw the ball into the bucket. If you do, you score a point. You get 2 balls each, but if you throw the ball and it misses the bucket, your partner collects the ball, which gives them an extra turn. You might win, you might lose, you might draw. We're not really bothered. It's all about improving on your personal best. So sure, children can still compare scores if they want to. This is why we revisit certain games across several different weeks. Children can look back and compare their performance. In this particular game, children might reflect on the distance that they threw the ball. Was it too far or not far enough? And more competent children might adapt the game to make it more challenging for themselves. Here we can see one of the children volunteering to start further back. So here's a quick summary. Expectations are more nebulous and generalised, whereas rules are more granular, specific and explicit. We have our expectations, which is underpinned by our rules. Rules are important because younger children take things literally and need it as a guide. As children become older, they get better at filling in the gaps and learning how to behave in different contexts. So for example, playing safely inside is slightly different to playing safely outside. So when you get a moment, write in the comments what your rules and expectations are for your children. The 3 expectations that we have been safe, being kind, and trying your best. And that's what works for us. Thank you for watching everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, then please like the video and share it with anybody else that may find it useful. And as always, remember to subscribe so that you can catch next week's video. I'll see you then.